So, the one project that I worked on was load balancing in virtual machine.
There are keys in your keyboard that do not send signals to the computer. What are they?
It took down the first server of our college, followed by its parent server, and then it just went up all the way to BSNL and brought BSNL down.
The first mobile phone that I remember is 1100. That is the strongest item ever created on Earth. Okay, hi Nihal, welcome back. This is part 2. We are in same outfit.
Hey Adi, it's been like super long since I saw you.
Oh wow, yeah.
in computer time. Dad joke added.
Yeah. I want to talk about a few things that we missed out, right?
Yes.
School computer labs. What do you remember?
Oh, lot of things. First of all, for me, the biggest thing was when computer labs were first introduced, everyone wants to play games. But for us, it was whoever enters the lab first gets the best computer.
Yeah.
And there was computers which never used to work and all that stuff. So we had to run. It was like survival of the fittest to get a good computer. I've broken my toe running and hitting the desk, getting bumping others. Yeah. India did not have central AC. Even now they don't. But do you remember the computer lab was the only lab with air conditioning?
Yes. Yeah, only room in the whole school that had air conditioning.
Was
And
peace.
yeah, especially in like the heat, right?
Oh yeah.
It was bliss. Yeah.
Same back in my city also. It was kind of hot, and then you have this AC room, the only room. Even your house didn't have AC, but the computer lab did.
Yes. But it used to be super cold, and sometimes we used to like freeze as well inside.
Yes.
And we had to remove shoes and socks to keep it dust
Oh,
free.
oh yeah, the shoes and socks. That used to add more energy into the whole scramble because people used to just slip and slide because.
Right.
Oh my god! I'm getting back.
Initially, my first school did not have that many computers, so we had to like group up like 4 or 5 of us in one computer. But my second school did have enough computers for everybody in a classroom. Depending on who went where, like you get the better computer. Yeah, I remember.
Yes. Just for our viewers and listeners, the amount of classmates you had in school was around 60 to like sometimes 100 as well. So you have to remember when we say that there's not enough computers, just imagine having a room with 60 computers. Even now it's kind of like hard. So our school did one nice thing is like they did divide the class into half. So half of them had theory, boring, and half of them had computer labs. And if you finish the lab fast, you could play games. They should give you that positive reinforcement. So people used to actually put effort, and people who like really didn't care about computers slowly started like caring about it.
Mm.
Do you remember the exams they used to have for all of this?
Yeah, we were talking about like Word and Paint and all of that,
Yes.
right? Like exams used to be draw the tool and then identify the tool. They used to give a small icon in black and white.
Horrible printers back then. It used to be like so bad. The icon used to be hardly recognizable, first of all.
Mm.
And you're like, I've seen this somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably an F, probably a P, who knows? And
Right.
then you have to like take the dice and throw it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then one thing to mention now is the save button that looks like a floppy disk. And when you show a floppy disk to people these days, they're
Yes.
like, why did you 3D print a save button?
Yeah. Talking about floppy disk, so I had one game in a floppy disk.
Wow.
It was called Tubular Worlds.
Mm.
It was called TB World, which was weird. That would mean anything, but it was a two-player game, side-scrolling, 8-bit,
Mhm.
and me and my sister used to like sit on the same keyboard. One was mouse and one was keyboard. So I used to be the keyboard and then she used to be the mouse. It's like we both helping each other out, and
Mhm.
only now games are coming out like that, and I kind of miss those games. It was really good playing with your siblings and we are fighting.
Yes.
But this was more of co-op, so either of us is to blame each other for like dying in the game. You're like, I died because of you.
Yeah, those games were really interesting. I don't think we ever get mouse only control kind of games anymore, right? You could do arrow keys and WASD, and then mouse used to be another one. Like I can't even imagine how the navigation and all of that was put into such few buttons.
Yes.
Uh, but it was really interesting to play with just the mouse.
There was no third dimension at that time, right?
Correct,
So
correct.
I cannot stress how difficult it is to code in assembly.
Yeah.
But whoever did that, hats off, amazing. I don't know. I just can't imagine. I did try a little bit, and then I'm like, nope. Move this to A. Move from one register to another. Nope, nope, nope. C is the lowest I can go, and then that's it.
Yeah. I remember writing assembly code as part of embedded systems and PLC lab in college with op codes and whatnot. We had to
Yes,
remember
yes,
hexacode commands, and all that we can do is add and subtract. So
yes,
anything that we had to do is addition and subtraction.
yes.
Even multiplications, we had to do addition writing loops. I mean,
Yeah, for us it was microprocessor lab, and it
mhm.
was, whew, it was fun, but it was oof for sure.
Yeah. Microprocessors, yes,
Yes,
microprocessors and microcontrollers. I think that was the class. Yeah, that was the
yes,
subject.
yes.
We used to have 80, 85, 80, 86,
Yes,
88, 80,
8080,
80 and 80, 86, right?
8080, 8086, believe it or not, is still being used, but it's like the more advanced version called
Mhm.
AMD 64 now.
Yeah. That's how far we've come, and it was really interesting in college. Like we got introduced to all these different aspects of things, right? Starting from microcontrollers up until Python and AI and whatnot. I think that was it was a good foundation to build on top in masters and all of that. What projects or what things do you remember from college?
From college, right? So the one project that I worked on was load balancing in virtual machines. So
Mm.
that time virtual machines were just becoming a thing, and I thought I will like get a piece of that. And it was a very interesting project where we already have virtual machines and we wanted to move virtual machines from one system to another,
Oh wow.
especially a system, say it has lower capacity to a system with a higher capacity, say like I
Mm.
core 3 core 5 to core 9, right?
Mm.
Based on certain performance requirements, right? And it was a very interesting project that I worked on, and it's like working on like low level stuff like shell script and trying to move according to what the processor is doing, and like making sure there should be zero lag. The person shouldn't know that it's moving and stuff like that.
Mm.
But we got to get it done. It took a lot of blood and sweat, but it was
Mhm.
good. And the funny thing that happened during that project was I had to create a distributed virtual machine system,
Mm.
and I plugged, I think, on a switch. The first plug is only for internet, and then I didn't know that, and then I plugged all of them into the switch.
Mm.
So it took down the first server of our college, followed by its parent server, and then it just went up
Wow.
all the way to BSNL and brought BSNL down. And then I'm like wondering why my internet is not working. Nobody knows what's happening because nobody has seen something like this, right?
Right.
And the lab technician comes in and this thing is down. I'm like, when did this happen? I acted like I didn't know. And then I unplugged it. And then 5 minutes later, he's like, oh, everything is working now.
Wow.
It was a fun project, but yeah, things now right? Like not because of my experience, but like you shouldn't do that anymore. And there are safeguards. Now, if I do the same thing in my home, only my home internet is going to go off.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. And as you were explaining, I don't know if you realized, you just spoke about creating cloud computing.
Right. Yeah.
Virtual machines, moving from one system to another, upgrading them, all of that. Yeah, you built a local cloud computer back
to,
then.
to tell you the truth, that is when I found out about machine learning because
Mhm.
I needed an algorithm to be able to detect user patterns. That's when I was like, okay, if I take this many points and then I plot a line, I can segregate these two. Realized, oh, y is equal to mx plus b is actually can be used for this and then get the slope from that. That's when I realized, oh, we can learn, things can learn over time.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh, okay, AI and stuff like that.
We did have introduction to AI and machine learning. I was just fortunate to have a very good professor who taught it really well. He went out of the standard curriculum that the university had set, and he taught like a lot more stuff that came actually handy in masters as well. India, at least back then, did not have correlation between subjects, right? Like 4 year series was taught in mathematics, and then like we learned stuff in different classes, different courses, but that connection was not well explained, which led to the side effect of people not having interest. Now we know most of the things that happens inside a computer is mathematics.
Yes.
Everything goes back to that microcontroller thing that I said. It's all addition and subtraction, right? Setting memory, unsetting memory, all of this is just pure addition and subtraction. Computers are still dealing with zeros and ones and nothing more. Making that correlation will get people more interested and make them understand like why they are doing what they are doing, right? uh, School curriculum, college curriculum did not come out of thin air.
Yeah.
There is a purpose for everything, and there is like good return on the time investment that we do way later in life. And I'm sure you can talk more about this since you do a lot of image recognition.
I actually want to like backtrack a little bit and ask you back what was your projects?
Oh, in college, I did have artificial intelligence and everything, but the most learning that I got was through internships and like projects that I did outside of the class. I was never a bookworm, right? Read the book, study from theory, and all of those things. I always enjoyed the labs, and those are reasons why I could even justify my marks and the things that I lose in theory that I could like get back in practical.
Were you that kid who had good grades in theory and like max out grades in like practical?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
The
same with
practical just
me.
balances out the theory. Yeah. And I have always been looking for practical learning opportunities. And that time, the upcoming thing was Android and app development and all of that. So I did a few projects in Android. I remember the first app we made was pulling information from Facebook through APIs
Hmm.
and displaying it in a dedicated application for a particular event. We used to be confused about how all of this is happening because we didn't know what APIs were, we didn't know how it interacted and what the response was or how to even like troubleshoot, because it was all mostly black box, right? There are instructions on how to build an app using this, and there is no correlation between oh, there are other ways of testing this and making sure it works. And I remember we got the list of events, and when we displayed it on the app, there used to be like empty events in between because it doesn't come like bunched up together.
I see, I see.
uh, and we had to like add in specific sections to exclude those parts because we didn't know what the output was. Only after it comes up on the screen we are able to see that there are like gaps in between. Those are all were like very interesting to learn, and that is not something you have in curriculum, right? Like not even Android development, all you have in the curriculum is like Java, for example.
Correct.
And Android worked in Java before. I don't think that happens anymore. but we had to implement that knowledge in different projects, and that is what that interested me the most. Based on that, like, we realized that is something that more people were interested in, so a few of us friends just got together and created a club where we could like share the knowledge for Android app development, and it was really interesting. Those are some initial projects that we did, and my final project for undergrad was recommendation for ads, like which ads should show up based on user activity within the phone, not going outside, categorizing different apps on the Play Store, finding out which category is being used the most, what should we recommend, which ad should we put up, stuff like that. I mean, Google does it much better these days, I guess. But back then, there was not much stuff about this.
It's interesting that we built some of our algorithms not thinking about what's going to
Yes.
happen. Like
Yes.
you said, the algorithm that I created, probably now it's like much better, but it's cloud. It's
Yeah.
literally cloud.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
right. I was thinking about it when I was doing all of this research as well. Having lived through all of this technological advancements, right? We have been exposed to all of this quite early in the process, but I don't know if we capitalized it enough. But I think that is something that we'll need to like think about. Like, even now there are technological advancements, and we are in early stages of something or the other every couple of years. Capitalizing on all of that and putting things to work is where the practical knowledge and experience comes in. I think everybody should make sure to take the effort to see what is art of the possible.
yes,
That's how a civilization together moves forward, right?
yes. It's always one small step at a time. Like people do like force the civilization to do something, it's not going to work.
Right.
And recently, I was reading an article. Apparently, Mussolini, I think he was a dictator for Italy during the World War II, and he was
Mm-hmm.
on the Axis forces, like same as Germany.
Mm.
And he had a regime. He's like, I'm going to ban pasta. He banned pasta. He
Oh.
in his regime he had pasta banned. And then now if you think about pasta, you only think about Italy and France and that area, right? That whole area. He had banned it. He had like if you eat this, you're going to die. Like that kind of regime, but people didn't. So you're forcing to do something, and people will obviously make it a big thing. So, in a civilization, always moves in a snail space, right? But not technology.
Yeah.
So I I want to bring one more topic up. Is cell phones and how.
Yes, I was gonna say that. Like, since we
Yeah,
talked about Android.
yeah, I had talked about how we leapfrog games, right? So, what did we Indians do in technology during that time when we had this point where there was no games? So, I was like, what did we do? We couldn't be just working hard. That's not possible. I mean, we do that, but there should be some amount of fun and like somewhere in fun in technology at least. So that's when I realized this was the era of mobile phones in India. Your status in your class or school or college was defined by what phone you had. You can
True.
come with a BMW, you can come with an Audi, doesn't matter. You come with a 6600, you were the king of the thing. So it's a Nokia
Yeah.
product, really big, throw it at someone, probably he'll not survive it. The phone will, but he will not.
I want to go even back. The first mobile phone that I remember is 1100 before all the 66600 came. That is probably the strongest item ever created on Earth. Like, there are memes about this. I don't know if people have seen. Before memes were even a thing, there were memes about 1100 being the strongest.
Do you remember the tagline for 1100? There was 1100 and there was 1110 as well. But
Hmm.
do you know the tagline for it? It was made for India.
Oh.
And the whole ad was people just throwing it. That was pure, proper advertisement. It's like, look, here's a product, and there it goes, and it's like thrown. It was a very good ad.
I don't remember seeing the ad, but yes, it was one of the strongest things on earth.
Yes.
And I would
That-
say it still is like.
yeah. It was a very, very simple phone with nothing in it. It was just a phone. You could text. It was black and white LCD.
And the only game in it was Snake. And then Nokia upgraded to color phones. The most famous game was
Ball.
Bounce. Yeah, yeah, those were times. Like we were talking about games all through the years, right? So all technological advancements, I think people remember it through the games.
Yes. I think games were like kind of the fundamental childhood memories. Like, I remember my mom used to be very angry with me playing
Mm,
games. Even now, she's like, why are
mhm.
you playing a game? But it was always satisfying playing some games and just like
Yeah.
relaxing.
And Bounce lasted through several versions of
Yes.
Nokia. Like that is one game I remember constantly being there, even after like touchscreens came in. I think they even upgraded to a 3D Bounce later in time. But Bounce is one of the classic games. Like we've spoken about Dave and Mario and all of that, right? Like Mario is something that everybody remembers, and Bounce is something that a lot of people will know if they have used a Nokia.
Yes. Nokia was our game console.
Yes.
Spirit, right? So that filled that hole that India had.
Oh, okay. And then iconic models that I remember: Sony Ericsson Cobra, and then Samsung Y, Galaxy Y.
Galaxy Y.
Yeah, these are all much later, but before that, with resistive touchscreens, Express Music, and even before that was the QWERTY keypad phones, the BlackBerry mimics from Nokia that came in. My dad had one, I know. I'm
I,
blanking on the model.
I just want to mention one thing. Reliance had just come out with a technology called CDMA. 2G, 3G, 4G, and that time we were in the 2G to 3G era. That time there was a big fight who will become the standard, and we had another standard called CDMA. And to promote this, Reliance was like, get a connection and we'll give you a free phone. Suddenly India was flooded with these Reliance phones. I remember my dad having it. It had some good games. I think it came with the LG phone or something like that. They had a tie-up with LG.
Yeah. So CDMA is Code Division Multiple Access. Yeah, and GSM is Global System for Mobiles.
So India had to catch up, right? And Nokia introduced the first operating system called Symbian.
Yeah.
And that was an instant hit in India. I remember a very good close friend of mine got a device which had this OS, the 6600. It came with a memory card slot, so called MMC slots, a multimedia card. One day I get this knocking on my door, and
Mhm.
he's like, Nihal, Nihal, Nihal. And then my mom also goes running thinking something happened. She opens the door and I'm right behind her. And then it's my friend fully excited. And he's like, Nihal, guess what? And he pulls up this memory card. It was a 32 MB, not GB, guys, 32 MB card. And it was the first ever that I've ever seen, a 32 MB memory card. And we were like so excited about it. We were like, oh my God, we can install 4 more games, 2 more songs. And we are like, whoa.
There was this era of iPods and Sony Shuffle, all of those things.
The Microsoft had something called a Zune.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
between
Yes.
computers and
Yes.
mobile phones. There was this as well, and that is what defined the advancement in memory storage, right? The newer versions had more memory, which means more songs, and memory was sometimes even measured in number of songs. That was actually Apple's marketing tactic. You don't tell them what it is, you just tell them how they can use it. Apple did not market as, oh, you have 32 MB or like 2 GB and whatnot. They only said you can store 10,000 songs or you can store 20,000 songs, and that was a really easy to understand metric for everybody, right?
Yes.
That's how I think we made strides in storage as well.
Many of the mobile phones have hard drives inside, like proper hard
Mhm.
drives, the spinning discs, right? If you drop it, it's done. Even
Yes.
the iPod was a big hard drive with the screen on it. Steve Jobs did a very good job marketing. Anyways, coming back to my original topic, we were talking about 2G and then CDMA and all, right?
Correct.
This is one thing which I was kind of sad about for India. 4G was the time when the final battle between what type of wireless can we use, like what standard should the world follow. that is what you're following now, like 5G and whatever, right? India had a decision to make. Actually, three decisions. One is like, should I do scandal or not? Other than that, on a technical note, should we go with LTE? That's another format which we all use now. Or should we go for VMAX? So VMAX also was a 4G thing created by another company, and LTE was done by 802.11 or something like that. And India thought, okay, at that point, VMAX was really good because it was cheap and it had greater distance. So India was like, okay, that's the future. And India was 4G ready even before United States.
Oh.
But what happened was VMAX was not adopted at all. No company, no Nokia, Apple, Samsung, LG, and few other providers, they were like, nope, they all went to LTE.
Okay.
The whole thing that India invested in getting 4G, that was kind of a very bad thing where India had to step back. And if you have seen India taking much more time for 4G because of all of this.
Okay. Interesting.
I was kind of paying close attention to it at that point because finally we are getting Mbps speeds. We wanted to skip 3G and go directly to 4G, but it backfired really bad for India.
Following that timeline, I mean, once again, Reliance took the lead in getting 4G everywhere. That is the internet boom that India had, where deep interiors and smaller places, smaller villages, and every nook and corner of India started getting internet suddenly. And in the last decade or so, right? It was pretty recent, and it was around the time when we moved out and came here and all of that.
I don't know if it's for the good or bad, but it's amazing that we have internet now everywhere. It's still unreliable. Every time I call my parents, it's like half lagging, at least in my area. Now, India does have the cheapest internet there is, at least from my knowledge. I'm pretty sure there is a country out there. Before someone starts spamming in the comments, I'm pretty sure there is. I was showing a funny thing for an American friend of mine where you buy a packet of Lays and you get 2 GB of internet free. He sees this and he's like, where are we going wrong? How are they giving 2 GB internet with a $2 packet of chips?
That is I think what has fueled India's recent large strides, right? The financial leaps like that India has made in the recent times. And I was just looking up, and India is the top country with most number of online transactions, and it's totally justified, right? With UPI and everybody having UPI, and COVID just catalyzing the whole adoption rate. I think that is something that we have to give kudos to India for.
What's mind boggling is our grandparents, they don't like technology at all. Even they, who are so averse to technology, are using technology like UPI. And they're teaching someone like us to use it, which makes it even more crazier. Yeah. It's that is how India has brought technology like quite fine grained into our society.
Based on what you just were explaining, right? The missed investments in things that were expected to become big, but we just fell short because of somebody else's decision, right? I guess it's just a little bit of luck and bad choices that led to us being a little bit step behind, but essentially that was just a spring going back and we went forward afterwards.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to take a step back to jump farther, I guess.
Yes. Any final things? I think we can explore different aspects that we even mentioned during the episode for future episodes.
Yes.
But final thoughts?
I wanted to ask what's on your shirt. Looks like a keyboard or something.
Yeah, this is a t-shirt full of keyboard keys. It has the backspace, control, alt, shift, everything. And then a few random keys as well. As soon as I saw this, I had to pick it up. And this was the right episode to wear this t-shirt.
I agree, yes.
Okay, I do have a few more trivia that I had prepared. Let's just quickly go over. What is one thing that has not changed over the years?
Pass.
We
What is
spoke
the
about
one
so
thing?
much of advancements, enhancements, all of this, but I feel one thing has stayed constant throughout the years.
Is this like more a technological question or a psychological question
No, no,
or
no, no. Technology like related to computers. I'll even tell you it's about a particular peripheral that we still use that has not changed.
is it the wheel?
No, I mean
Wheel has not changed.
wheel has not changed. The invention itself was late, but
Yeah.
so this is the keyboard layout. The layout of the keyboard, like the alphabets and even the other keys,
Right,
have
right.
not changed much over the years, right? Interestingly, the keyboard layout, the QWERTY keyboard layout that we have was not what to say easy to type kind of decision. It was a decision to make sure the typewriter keys that go forward and back do not get stuck. So the keys were placed in a specific pattern so that the two keys do not get jammed together.
I see. You know what's interesting? I've seen a friend of mine in my previous company. He used to use not QWERTY. He used a Dvorak or something like that. It is
Mhm.
very
We
interesting
do have
because
versions.
yeah,
Yeah, there is AZERTY as well.
Azerty
Then,
is
yeah, there are other versions of keyboards, and I think sometimes keyboards are also language specific, region specific, whatever is easier for them to use. But for the
I
most part, the style of the keyboard and the even the size of keys have not changed over the
yes,
years.
yes. That's because the size of our fingers have not changed. I mean, there is an average, but yeah.
Right, right. Okay, one more related to keyboard. There are keys in your keyboard that do not send signals to the computer. What are they?
Is it scroll lock? No,
One
scroll
of
lock.
them, yes.
Oh, scroll lock doesn't.
I mean, it's easy to guess the others. Come on.
Actually, no. Then caps lock.
Caps lock and num lock. Does the shift key do the same thing? Because essentially you're sending
Ah,
capital versus or a different this thing, right? That is not true. Shift key is a modifier key, whereas caps lock is a state key.
I see.
So shift key has other functions like you can press it along with something else in order to perform specific actions,
Right.
whereas that's not the case with caps lock. Okay, give some examples of folder names that are prohibited in the Windows system.
Okay, I have found this out by accident. I think it's com. Com, you can't do com. Dot com or something like that. Com.
It's CON.
Con.
There are a few others, PRN, AUX. These are DOS commands that were reserved. That's why it's not allowed to create folders. And you can also not create folders with just a dot or two dots. These are all for used for folder navigation, right? Dot is like current folder, two
Yeah.
dots is previous folder. So you can't do all of that. That's just trying to fool the system or confuse the system. Yeah, and one of the keys that is possibly no longer functional is the pause break key. That was used for DOS commands when the DOS output is coming. If you want to pause the output, you can press that key. We don't have DOS anymore, so
It
uh,
is replaced by some other thing. Do you know which one? It's a backward trivia. So nobody uses DOS now. It's either PowerShell or command prompt or Linux, right? The terminal.
yeah.
So there is a command which will pause the screen without
Okay,
you pressing pause. It is Control S.
interesting. Isn't that like save?
It is save, but if you're on a terminal, it is Control S will pause the screen,
Oh,
and not only that, it will record your macro as well. So you can pause the screen, type in some stuff, do, and then press Control Q, and it will unpause.
I don't use so much of Linux, so I
Yes,
don't know that.
yes.
Okay, one last one, extremely quirky. I don't know if you will know. What is the material of the first mouse ever made?
Plastic, wood.
Wood. Yeah,
Was it wood?
it was wood. It was
Ah,
apparently wood. Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. I was just trying to look up interesting facts about like, computers and peripherals, and I found these. Yeah. Okay, that's all I have.
Yeah. Anyways, this is some thoughts and some experiences that Adi and I have gone through over time. And as you have noticed, our experiences, although being parallel, are very similar. And just let us know if you want us to like, talk about something in more detail. I mean, we can go on talking, but we don't want to bore you guys, so we just kept this short, I think.
Yeah. And we also left a lot of loose ends, right? We have said we will talk about a lot of things in
Oh yeah,
upcoming episodes, and it does take a lot of time to find out details about things that we want to explain. So, yeah.
more importantly, we want to invite someone who is more well versed with
Yes,
this, as we are mostly hobbyists in these things like tech and
correct.
stuff like that. But there are people who are out there who are much better. We can try to invite them in.
Yeah, mostly this has been a nostalgic journey for me. Even when I was like preparing for this and talking about this, it was very good to go through all of those memories and reminisce times rather than just stating stuff.
Yes.
This was a good 2-part episode. We'll come back with more in the next one.
Yep. So stay tuned, guys.
Stay tuned. Yeah. See you all. Bye.
Bye bye.